still say that. But there you go. So let me do that. And then let me pin my cute little face so that I am here. Okay, perfect. So, guys, welcome officially to our Twins Delivery Day Bootcamp. I am Natalie Diaz, founder and Big Cheese here at Twiniversity. I want to start off just by genuinely thanking you guys, and I'm going to have some interaction. For those of you that are watching, you missed it. You snooze, you lose. So we can't play in the same way. But for the people that are here today, we're going to have some games. We're going to have some prizes that you could win. And I love to give away prizes. I actually found an old Pier 1 Imports gift card that I was going to just give away today, but I decided to throw it in the garbage because for those of you that don't know, Pier 1 Imports doesn't exist anymore, but there went that gift card that I never cashed in. So that's great. So if you guys are willing to, I would still genuinely love if you would consider putting on your cameras because I'm going to ask for thumbs ups and thumbs downs and everything in between. You do not have to leave it on, but I would like it because that's how I get to judge that you guys are paying attention and not paying attention because I know you're paying attention. But if I want something, I'll say like, hey, show a pause, how many this, show of this, blah, blah, blah. So all that. So I can actually see you guys. So thank you for doing that. I see your cute faces. All right, so we are going to jump in with our presentation of the day. And if you guys do not know who I am, first of all, how do we feel about the gray? I need like a chick to chick discussion. Full thumbs ups. WTF. I'm going to start cursing vulgarly. I can't do it anymore. And honestly, I have been gray since I am 16 years old. I've had skunk spots, as they were called. And so in high school, I wasn't really made fun of because honestly, I could handle anything that is ever thrown at me and turn it around in a way that either makes you feel small or makes me feel extra awesome. So that's one of my superpowers. So for my whole life, I've been dealing with this and I don't know what happened, but I've just had enough. And I actually am really digging it. It's a little Cruella de Vil, but in general, and weirdly, when I put on my glasses, see if you get this. My kids say that I look like Roz from Monsters, Inc. Do I have that vibe? Because thank you. I mean, that's the best part about having twins is you could always depend on them for the truth. So there you go. So
I think Devil Wears Prada. I'm getting Devil Wears
Prada. Honestly, yeah. Amanda, if they call me Roz one more time in the house, I'm going to go crazy.
You treat them like she does in Devil Wears Prada.
I should treat them like that. Honestly, I should be like that and be like, oh, but she was super gray too. So yeah, for a while, if you watch old Twiniversity videos, you will hear me refer to this as old dog, like where I feel like I'm going old dog. You know, when dogs get gray on their muzzle, but now I've embraced it and I'm going full old dog. And I'm not an old dog. I'm a sweet little puppy. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. All right. So if you don't know me for any other reason than being a sweet puppy Roz from Monsters, Inc., you might know me from the 2 books that I wrote, What to Do When You're Having To and the Newborn Twin Sleep Guide. Guys, the Newborn Twin Sleep Guide actually starts for you during pregnancy. So if you didn't know that, like I think a lot of times people are buying What to Do, and I'm not saying buy one versus the other, but I'm saying if you are someone who is really stressing out about how to get your 20s to just never need sleep coaching, then you should read that book. And honestly, I will give you a full refund if it does not work. I know that the science behind what we do, I am a woman of my word, and I would never write anything that I would not apply to my own family. So if you haven't bought that book, you should. We're coming up on our year anniversary. Amanda, I was going to tell you about that. So our pub anniversary is coming out and it's doing really well, but people are buying it too late. And they're like, oh, I wish I would have found this sooner. So don't be that person. Don't yell at me that I didn't tell you about it. So grab that book when you can. It's on Amazon. Sometimes there's a sale. Sometimes there's not. I don't really know. But the other things besides being an author, I am also the big cheese of this little business that we have here called Twiniversity. So we are a global support network for families of multiples. And I hope that you guys have been receiving a lot of the information and education that we're putting out there, because every day of our life, whether it's me, Amanda, Emily, Paige, the rest of the Twiniversity team, but we get up every day to make sure that you don't have the same experience that we did. So maybe we should all talk to our therapists about this. We have extended, but we could only do better if we know better, right? As a general saying. So I did not know better. Amanda did not know better. Paige did not know better. So our whole Twiniversity team, we did not know better. And so now we're making sure that you know better so that you could have a more fulfilling experience as a parent. That's what our job is. So that's why I'm the big cheese here. In addition to that, I'm also a CPST, which stands for Child Passenger Safety Technician. In other words, I am a car seat wackadoodle. So I could tell you as fact, my twins' car seats were never installed correctly. 100%. Literally, how they're alive, I couldn't tell you. It's really a miracle. Thank God I didn't drive a lot when they were little, but I know as fact that they never were. The tether, and just to really put this out there, Amanda's going to laugh, but the tether that goes over a convertible car seat, you'll see it later, but not later today, but like later when you're using a convertible car seat. I know as fact I never even used it. I literally had the same Band-Aid on, like not Band-Aid, rubber band that when I bought it. So I know that I wasn't doing it correctly. And I was like, what do you really know? What am I really going to learn as a CPST? Holy shitballs. I have learned way too much about car seat and car seat safety and making sure that your children are okay. So if you have any questions about your car seat, you should go to safekids.org. Amanda, could you throw that in the chat? So go to safekids.org, look for a CPST in your area. If anybody is in the New York City area, I will tell you, you literally drive to the corner of Lafayette and Grant Street. I will meet you at the pump right there. I will do a free car seat inspection for you because I just want to make sure that your 20s are okay. If you have a Tesla, I may or may not just sit in there for, 4 to 5 hours, especially if it's the one with the fancy doors, because that's the only time that I get to have luxury is when I am in your cars. So that's not, I drive a crappy little Kia, which, random note, Amanda, I told you about this, right? About my Kia issue. I had a check engine light. Guys, living in New York City, want to know one bad thing? The rats ate wires under my car. It cost me $2,200 to feed rats. So apparently, most cars have wires that are made of soy, and those are delicious to rodents. So if you live in a rodent-y area, just feel free to spray some red fox urine on top of your engine like I have to do once a month now. Delicious. Okay, so there you go for car seat safety. So if you don't have a car and you want to learn how to use your car seats and you do live in New York, feel free to come into my rat infested car and we will try your car seats out on that. So I will do that for you. But that is actually a true thing. I really thought that this guy was pulling my chain and taking me for a ride. He was not. So big cheese, honestly, not as funny now that I think about it. Maybe I'm a little sensitive to that term. So we may have to change that, Amanda, on the next presentation. So in addition to that, something else that we have to change here, Miss Amanda, I am no longer a certified lactation counselor. I am an international board certified lactation consultant. So I am an IBCLC, which basically in layman's terms, I have my doctorate in lactation. I like to just say that because I'll never actually have a real doctorate, although I do have a doctorate from doing the Walt Disney World college internship when I was 19. So my doctorate does not count. You either got a master's or a doctorate. Yes, I drank the Kool-Aid. You're welcome. So Disney families, I'm here for that. In addition to being a boo person and a car seat person, I'm also the host of our really, really amazing award-winning Twiniversity podcast, which I cannot believe you guys still listen to. So every single time I assume it's just my sister. No, that's not true. She doesn't even listen to it. I think it's just me hearing if the editor did a good job. But if you haven't, you could just ask Alexa, you know who I'm talking about, to play the Natalie Diaz podcast or the Twiniversity podcast, and it'll just play randomly in your house. I'm also a childbirth educator, right? So hence why we're here. I am Lamaze trained. Different story for different day. I am not Lamaze certified for many reasons that we cannot discuss because time does not allow. But I will not be certified in that because in all sincerity, the investment that it would take for us is just not worth Twiniversity's dollars. So I am just Lamaze educated. And I am also, of course, a twin mama. So my twinnies, all kidding aside, they're 20 years old and they are absolutely extraordinary. And if they weren't my kids, I would be so jealous of the family that they belong to because they are the freaking best. Genuinely. And when I hear people complain about their kids or when they had a hard time during their teenage years, I have to say, one of the best parts about tiny house living here in New York City is My kids have no place to hide. There will be no, they don't want to go to their bedroom because all there is a bed and a desk because it's like a prison cell living in our tiny little bedroom. So having one television, one tiny living room, they couldn't go anyplace. And we never, ever lost that kind of connection that parents typically do during those teenage years. So I found a little side benefit and I realized that I never lost that with my parents either, which was kind of cool. So I love my kids. I will tell you, yes. Is it a lot of work? Oh, hold my beer, kids. It is a lot of work, but is it the best investment I have ever made in my life in time and finances and everything? 100% yes. It is. I do not know why people have one at a time. I work with a lot of singleton families and I feel bad for them. I don't have any singleton families here today, do I? Now that I'm just realizing that. And if you need a podcast episode to listen to, our number one podcast episode of last year was called Shitting on Singletons. So feel free to put that on your roster after today's class. Okay, I have already bullshitted for 19 minutes, so let's 12 minutes. So let's jump into what we're actually going to cover today because we actually are going to learn something and it's not going to be a one-woman show the entire time. I promise. Okay, so here are the things that we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about 4 things to do before delivery day, which they're all going to be fairly important and we'll cover them in great detail. We'll talk about how to know when you are in labor. All right. It's not just like the TikTok video of the girl squeezing the bottle between her legs to look like her water broke and giving her poor father a stroke. For God's sake, did anybody see that video? Why do they do that to that man? Don't, honestly, seriously, Jesse, do not Google it. That's all I'm going to say because I felt so bad for that poor grandpa that was like, what do I do? What do I do? Why don't do that to anybody, please. And don't film it either because I feel so bad. So we'll talk about how to know when you're in labor. We'll talk about birthday preferences. So you might call it a birth plan. Right? I'm going to call it something different because we can't really make a plan because we have no control over that. The babies have full control over that. So we'll talk a little bit about creating some birthday preferences. We'll talk about how to be an advocate for yourself in your 20s because you do need to know how to do that. And you would think that in the present age that we are, despite our political environment, that we shouldn't have to advocate for ourselves as much as we do. We do. You will, I will. And not only that, you need to teach your kids these things too. So I'm going to teach you a fun little acronym that you will probably be using for the rest of your life. So we'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk about recovery tips because it doesn't matter if you have a vaginal or C-section, we're all going to have to recover. So we're going to go through that at length. And then we're also going to talk about that first introduction of your 20s. When you guys are finally reunited in the hospital and when everybody is one big happy family, what exactly does that look like? And how could you make the transition from being kind of like just a couple, just the two of you, and to being a family of 4 in a matter of hours? It's kind of insane if you think about it. So before we go any further, I have a question for you guys. So I'll leave this up if you guys didn't grab your workbook. But while you guys are thinking about the workbook, which you should totally grab in all sincerity, it is so freaking inexpensive and will save you so much time. You're welcome. Amanda and I put that together for you after years and years of compiling not just what we thought you guys needed, but what you guys tell us that you need. So understand anything at Twiniversity isn't just like our idea. Everything that we do is for you. So any services that you want, anything that you want, if you tell us, we'll try to make it happen. And our delivery day workbook was one of the big ones that you wanted. You guys wanted to cut through all the red tape that's on the website. You didn't want to buy the book. You didn't want to buy anything. Fine by us. Unfortunately, you have to buy something because that's how we keep ourselves alive because we're still a business at the end of the day. And Amanda refuses to work for Dr. Brown's Bottles. Although I have tried many, many times. She doesn't. I will have to talk to her about this later. But I want to know right now in the chat, how many weeks are you guys? So where are you in your pregnancy, right? I'm going to assume that all of you are still pregnant and that you guys are not, that don't have littles already, because honestly, this is a waste of your time if your littles are here. And if your littles are here, know that we have other classes that are available, but this one, not so much for you guys. But put in the chat right now, and I'm going to look too, and I want to see, oh, you guys are so sweet. I love it. Look, 29, 34, 24. A lot of 24s trending, guys. Look at that. Oh, Sarah, she's 31 weeks. What are we going to do? 18 weeks. Love it. Okay, so now what I want you to do, okay, I want you guys to look in the chat, and I want you to find a buddy that is the same or close to the amount of weeks that you are. And then I want you both to reply with your name and their name, and you will both win a copy of our book. Ta-da! See? So we're really about community, and we could only do this as a team. I will tell you, being a parent of twins is not, excuse me, a solo act. It really is a team sport. So find somebody. I want you guys to make a friend, and I would like if you connected to offline if you would consider, but it's really nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, right? So I always say that our tagline at Twiniversity should be misery loves company is really what it should say, but instead it says community, education, and humor. But really for real, like, try to find that partner, put it there. Amanda is going to check the comments here, and she's going to pick 2 people. Amanda, just text me, or you could put it up into the chat who won. But yeah, we'll give away 2 copies of these, and we'll give away a few more of these. But I need you guys to read this now so that you feel better later. All right. Not that I don't want you to read the other one, because you guys are really crushing the other one. And I literally make $1.17 a copy, make $1.07 on this one. So thank you ahead of time. Okay. All right. So we got some friendships being made, and now we're going to go back to jumping into our class. And okay, here we go. I just realized that the music's still playing. Maybe I should turn that off. I hear it in the background. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, there we go. We got that off. All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. I also want to know, because I could pivot this class in any direction that we'd like. I want to know what you guys are most anxious about. Like when you're laying in bed, right? Or when you're in the shower and you have those shower thoughts. What are the things that pop in that is stressing you out the most? Like, is it delivery day? Is it raising them? Is it finances? Is it names that you're going to pick out? Is it pain? Like, what is the factor that's causing you so much stress? Ugh, Shannon, daycare costs are it. That's going to be our next Twiniversity endeavor, is going to be like, we're going to open up like a chain of daycares or something that's going to be exclusively for twins. And it's going to be a BOGO situation. Just letting you know, because I cannot even comprehend. So we got breastfeeding, we got premature delivery, we want induction versus C-section, how to feed 2 and get 2 to sleep. We got that. I'm like, this is good so far. There's nothing that's stumping me, kids, which is really, really nice. So delivery day and sleep from my mamas, perfecto. All right. So early delivery, preemie, we got that. We got the NICU, managing a toddler. Oh, that's a tough one, Taylor, but totally doable. So you'll be okay. Sometimes you never know that you're going to have twins, and also know that for the next time, you also could have twins again. One of our Twiniversity Mom Squad members is currently expecting her second set of twins and pretty much having a nervous breakdown over it. But I think that I found out before her family did. Like, I didn't want to tell Amanda, but I got a call from the doctor's office. And literally, I was the first line, and she's like, "You're not going to believe it." And I'm like, I believe it. Who better to have twins than a twin parent? We're the most experienced. We got this. You're less stressed. All right. So we got a lot of stuff that we are going to cover. Daycare is definitely going to be a little bit of stuff that we're going to cover. And Amanda, could you just tell them a little bit about like your twins, and could you tell some other things that we have for them here at Twiniversity? You just undid yourself, by the way, which I think is pretty funny.
I was trying to unmute myself, and I decided to take myself off camera instead.
Okay, good. So
what would you like me to tell them about my twins?
The membership stuff, and then like how you came to Twiniversity too.
Oh, yes.
I have a mom that's trying to log in that can't get in, and I'm going to text her back. That's why you're talking.
I actually started, my doctor while I was pregnant with twins said, find an online community. And I found Twiniversity on Facebook. And honestly, Nat used to do some like Facebook lives and just sit around and talk. And I would watch those while I was folding laundry. And she lives in New York City, which is my most favorite place in the entire world. I do not live in New York City. And so just there alone, I was like, this is for me. And then, when my twins were a year, a writing opportunity came available, and I started to write for Twiniversity, and they can't get rid of me now, no matter how much she tries to pawn me off on Dr. Brown's. It's not happening. So
Sure, sure. All
But
right. Thank
Twiniversity
you.
has so many more resources than anybody even like than any of us. I mean, even more than I realized when I was pregnant with twins. That the classes are one thing, but we now have the boob camp, which is all about breastfeeding. With the sleep book, now we've started a sleep class. And we have a sleep school coming out very, very, very soon, which is going to be more of an online do at your own pace kind of class. And we have a membership where we have a meeting every month. And it's just amazing to it seem like this. We just get in and we just talk about life. And that is the best thing about Twiniversity because we may not be able to fix the issue that you're going through, but I promise you, you will feel so much better when you know somebody else is experiencing it as well. Because that is what I felt. I always felt like whoever I talked to with my twins, I'd be like, well, this is happening. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, my kid never did that. It was so very isolating. And so that is why I wanted to write. I was like, I just want to write a story about everything. And if there's one mom that's like, oh my God, I went through that and now I'm not alone. Like, that's all I want.
That's it. It's a truth.
Because
That's all.
hope is all you need.
We want I wish. I wish that was. We also need money. I hate to break that.
No,
That's
no,
all.
no, no. You can just hope for it, and
That
it's fine.
that's why.
It's
That's
working
why
out great for me.
I play Lotto every week because that's the way it is. I just hope I win. So yeah. So know that Amanda's not the only one behind the curtain here. In addition to me, we got a whole Twiniversity mom squad. So never hesitate to message us or send us an email or slide into DMs with anything that you guys have. So that mama is going to join us. She just had an issue, so that's good. All right. So now I want to tell you about 4 things that you have to do way before delivery day. So in our delivery day workbook, you will find this. But the first thing I want to talk about is your hospital bag. So when you're packing your hospital bag, you should have it done by your 30th week. Okay. I know that everybody waits a little bit too long, but I do not. Please, I beg you, do not wait till more than 30 weeks. So the important things that I really would like for you to consider having in your hospital bag are number 1, if you're going to create a birth preferences sheet, you have to have multiple copies because you may have to give it to somebody on hand, right? So we have to have some of those. The other thing is that please, I beg you, you and your partner should not share a bag. A lot of times I've seen families go in and then, one person will have their bag, the other person will have their bag. But the problem is if you did share a bag, and somebody was in recovery for an extended period of time, the person that's going to be in the hospital room or maybe just sitting in a waiting room until you're assigned a room is going to have to rummage through all of your stuff to find theirs. So you really shouldn't. The other thing is when you're planning your hospital bag, please, I beg you, do not freaking take a wheeler. Do not, first of all, it's skeevy to wheel through hospitals. Like that's just number 1. Number 2, it's really difficult to carry 2 car seats plus your luggage, plus all the crap you're going to steal from the hospital. It's too much stuff to take. So invest in a cross-body bag that your partner could put on crisscross, one over one shoulder, one over the other shoulder, and then they could leave even if they had to hold the 2 car seats themselves. Okay, there should be a little bit more help when departing your hospital, but if there's not, we have to take all of your stuff out of there in one full swoop. You could even, when you take your hospital tour, by the way, which is going to be the next thing we talk about, you could ask about discharge and how that goes. Are you able to bring your car to the front and then load everything from there? Does your hospital have, a parking lot that's 6 blocks away and you're going to have to literally walk there with the 20s and all your stuff? So on your hospital tour, you do want to find out what the parking situation is like and the pickup situation is like. But then knowing that may help you actually pack a different bag. So the other thing is you don't have to go crazy overpacking. Anything that you really need in the hospital will be given to you. It's going to be the stuff that you want to have with you. So I really love some lip gloss, not lip gloss, but like some lip balm of some sort. I love some lotion. If you could find a lotion that has some eucalyptus in it, often it's for diabetics, but you could find it at a Walgreens, at a Rite Aid, at any place. So the reason why a lotion that has a little bit of eucalyptus in it is that why that would be beneficial is that post any type of delivery, if you had a C-section or if you had a vaginal delivery, the anesthesia sometimes makes you a little itchy. And so the eucalyptus and that like the mint that might be in it, depending on what type of lotion you get, if you put that on, it helps with that itchiness. So I do want you to take that. Like if you're going to buy something anyway, that's going to be a travel size, might as well buy something that's going to serve two benefits, not just moisturizing, but that's actually going to help you stop that ish. Okay. The next thing is you got to make sure that you pack at least two outfits per baby, because the minute that you put them in their going home outfit is the minute that they have explosive, meconium diarrhea for the first time, or they're vomiting all over everything. So make sure that you don't have to send them home in pukey or poopy outfits. You want to at least have two for each baby, and they are super duper small. Total pro tip, pack their outfits in Ziploc bags, because if something were to explode in your bag, it will be safely protected in the zipped plastic. So if your lotion that I told you to buy explodes, at least it doesn't get on the baby clothes, because that's tougher to have stuff for the babies to wear home than for you. You're in a jam, you could always wear your partner's pajama pants, right? Like if something exploded, but for the babies, it's definitely going to be a lot tougher. So put that in Ziplocs and think about that as well. If you can also throw in some snacks. I know it sounds absolutely stupid and nutty, but food is not available 24 hours a day in a hospital. They may be able to offer you a turkey sandwich or an apple at 2 o'clock in the morning, but they're not bringing you a piece of grilled chicken and a salad. So if you were to deliver in the middle of the night, let's say you had an unplanned C-section that ended at 2 o'clock in the morning, then you waited for, a few hours till you could eat again. Breakfast isn't coming until 8 a.m. And if you haven't eaten for more than 24 hours, you're going to be gnawing at the side of that bed. So think about, even if you put M&Ms, I don't even care if it's garbage food, just something, right? So I would say they make the little packs of like the cashews and cranberries, like the little 100-calorie packs. Those would be good. Some protein bars would be good. The little round individual servings of peanut butter would be fantastic. You could always eat that with a spoon, but anything that is going to be non-perishable that you could leave in your trunk for, 5 weeks, 6 weeks until you have to deliver, but just put that in there, because it really is weird to me that they're like, oh, we'll have something for you all the time. No, they won't. They actually won't. Do not believe them. I do not care what they say. They will not have something for you at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it will be garbage if they do. So have something that you're going to want to snack on and your partner's going to want to snack on in case you need that. Spoken like a real Italian girl is what I am. Always have food on you at all times. All right. So you're going to pack your hospital bag. There's a million other things that I would like for you to have in your hospital bag. It's all on your delivery day workbook list. But the last one that I'm going to tell you is, weirdly, Post-its. Post-its are my number one pro tip for delivery day, because if you don't want to be woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, this is how you make that happen. You say, please let Mama Bear sleep. Otherwise, she will be very growly, right? Even though in a hospital, they're like, we have to come take vitals every 17 seconds. And we have to do this every 11 and a half minutes. They actually don't. They don't need to do anything that is going to really impede your healing. So if you don't want to be woken up, you could say, please, like only vital, critical items that are necessary, please come and do that. But I don't think a lot of people know you don't have to have your vitals taken at, 17 times a day. Of course, if you had an issue with high blood pressure or if something is going on, that definitely consider it. But I'm not saying don't have your vitals taken. I'm saying don't have your vitals taken in the middle of the night if you have an opportunity to sleep. Okay, so just put a note on the door. Also, if there's lactation support in the hospital and they're not showing up soon enough, go literally take your Post-it and stick it on the door of the LC. If there's a social worker that you need to speak to because you are worried about, certain services or benefits that you might be entitled to, take a Post-it, go throw it on their door. Worst comes to worst, literally, I've done this before. If a hospital is really pissing me off, I go leave a note on their public relations and marketing office. Hashtag just saying, power the pen. I don't F around. If you guys have a problem and word gets to me that you're having an issue in a hospital, I actually will call your hospital. I do not give a shit what country you live in. I will advocate for you if you guys feel that you can't. So I am extra fighty, so you don't have to be. See how nice that is? It's a little perk. It's a little perk. And also I love fighting. It's my favorite hobby. All right. So we got stuff in your hospital bag. Now, the next thing that you can't do too soon is I need you guys to take your hospital tour if your hospital offers a tour. So here's especially what I want you to look for. Where the hell do you go into the hospital at 2 a.m.? Are you going into labor and delivery? Are you going through the emergency room? Or are you going in through the general entrance? And where are you going at 2 p.m.? Is it the same entrance? So first and foremost, how the heck are we getting in this hospital at different times of day? Because there's been so many cutbacks in the healthcare industry post-COVID that I can't even believe that I'm still saying this. Things have not regulated. But if a hospital found a way to save 17 cents, they're still saving 17 cents. So they may not have all entrances and exits open 24 hours a day. So that's the first one that's pretty critical, is find out where the heck you're going in. That's number one. Number two, I want you to know what the layout of the hospital is. So where is labor and delivery in relation to the OR, if they're going to require you to deliver in an OR, in relation to the recovery room, in relation to the postpartum floor. And that way, if you should, for whatever reason, get in there and you're just like all screwed up in your head and you don't know where the 20s are in your mind's eye, it's very uncomfortable. So the more that you know, okay, well, this is what the NICU looks like. Okay. And this is what the postpartum floor looks like. Okay. And this is what the OR looks like. The more that you know ahead of time, the easier it will be to deal with all the changes that are thrown at you for that day. So we're going to take a lot of variables off the table with that hospital tour. If they do not offer a hospital tour, I genuinely recommend that you go rogue. I'm not saying break the law and, go into the hospital with like full guerrilla warfare makeup on, but I am saying that next time you're in there for any reason at all, maybe you're there for an OB visit, maybe you're there for an MFM visit, maybe you're there just for an ultrasound. I want you to know, where are you entering? What does your labor and delivery room look like? Are you going to be allowed to deliver vaginally in a labor and delivery room? Some hospitals are now allowing it. I would say when I had my kids 417 years ago, we only could deliver in an operating room. So now there's some hospitals that are large enough, that have labor and delivery rooms that are large enough. The reason why, it wasn't always because you were going to have a C-section or they wanted to be ready for you to have a C-section. It really is the volume of staff that's necessary for a multiple birth delivery. Because in addition to your whole OB team, you're going to have the anesthesia team, in addition to potentially the NICU team, in addition to, if you're delivering in a teaching hospital, you're going to have every friggin' Tom, Dick, and Harry intern that's going to want to witness the miracle of your multiple birth, right? So it's the volume of the staff that makes the reason for delivering in an OR so much more appealing to a hospital than having you go through labor and delivery in a labor and delivery room. So that's definitely something that you guys want to look into, but we have a ton more questions. I think we have 40 something in total of questions to ask your hospital on your hospital tour that's in our workbook. All right. The next thing is, I want you guys to call your insurance company. All right. And I want you to ask them certain things. So number one, I want you to ask them, how do we let them know that the babies are here? I still cannot believe that there are some insurance companies that require you, the subscriber, to let them know that your babies have arrived, as if you don't have anything else to do. I think a lot of times people think that the hospital is going to take care of all the admin stuff. However, that's not always true. You have to specifically ask and say, hey, how do we let the insurance company know that the babies are here? Now, if you and your partner have two different insurance companies, they will automatically default to putting the babies on the insurance policy of whichever partner is older. That is what's going to happen if you do not make other plans. All right. So if you are very passionate about making sure that your 20s and everything's done correctly, please make sure you're calling your insurance company and ask them that. The second thing that I want you to ask them is, I want you to ask them, what's the process of getting your pump? Now, do you really need a pump? I want to say no, but I know that the answer is going to be yes, right? So as an IBCLC, I always say, if your grandmother didn't have it, odds are you don't need it. But with 20s, and especially the odds of them coming a little bit earlier and maybe being a little bit weaker than expected and maybe not being as ferocious at breast as possible, we're going to need to pump to protect your supply. So I do want you to get your pump lined up. If you are unsure which pumps are available to you, this is how we find out. And by the way, you don't have to settle. If there's some particular pump that you want that isn't covered, sometimes they'll be like, okay, well, you have to pay an extra $75 and you could have that pump. I beg you right now, I'm literally going to hold you right now. Do not freaking buy wearable pumps. Like literally, could you guys type it in the chat for me right now? because I am this serious about it. Say, Nat, I promise I will not buy wearable pumps. How about this? I will not buy wearable pumps as my primary pump. If you want wearables, buy them, fine, but do not start using them out of the gate. They are not adequate. And I literally joke all the time. If I can't get a singleton to make the amount of milk that I need to, there's no way I'm doing that with you guys. So I appreciate that you are humoring me. I definitely needed this. It is important. So think about this. If we were going on a road trip, right, and we were taking a 200-mile road trip, and I said to you, hey, what do you guys want to take? You want to take this Vespa? Or do you want to take this, my fancy Kia with the rat-eaten wires? I'm hoping all of you choose the rat-eaten Kia that's closed, because if it rains, we're in trouble. The Vespa is the wearable pump. Yes, it can get us to where we need to go, but at what cost? So please, please, I beg you, do not use your insurance money on that. Okay. Now, in addition to getting your pump, guess what? You might be entitled to two. What? Did I just say that? Some insurance companies offer you a pump per pregnancy, and some insurance companies offer you a pump per live birth. Do you see what I did there? It's important to read the fine print, because if they're going to offer a pump per live birth, you're getting two. And then you could leave one at work, sell one at Facebook Marketplace. I don't even care. Not my monkey, not my circus. But you could have the opportunity to get two. And it is not a bad idea to be able to have two. If you're looking at which pumps, honestly, we have no connection at all to any pump companies. I try to stay as neutral as possible. But if you could get the Spectra Blue, that shit is the jam. So for real, that is like my baby grand piano. I could play that like nobody's business. So consider getting that one. Sometimes it's an extra $10 or $20 versus the pink. The only difference is that the pink you have to stay plugged into, but the blue you could literally walk around the house with. It has a rechargeable battery. Those are the only differences of that. In addition to your pump, excuse me, you guys need to get the correct flange. All right. So what is a flange? These are the flanges. All right. And this diameter right here goes anywhere from 9 millimeters to 34 millimeters. I actually think it goes low. I think it goes to 7 millimeters. This really makes a difference. How do we know what size you are? There's something called a ruler. I don't know if anybody Googled this lately, but you could actually use a ruler. You don't have to print up any of those stupid things. Honestly, even these guys drive me crazy, but just get a ruler, put it next to your chest and say, babe, what does this look like? And do the conversion. Whether you have a centimeter ruler, whether you have an inch ruler, do the conversion and try to get within 3 millimeters of what you're going to need. Okay. I will tell you another thing. And this is like, honestly, we should put this more in the boob class. But my biggest issue with families having the wrong flange is because if it pulls in too much of your areola, it could actually stop the flow of milk. So it really is important that it's just pulling in your nip. All right. Just nips only. So we want to make sure that you have the right flange. All of that is covered by your insurance. So you have to make sure that you get the correct one. You do not need to bring your pump to the hospital. The hospital will have pumps. The hospital will have flanges. And so, yes, if you can get two of the Spectra Blue, get two of the Spectra Blues. See what we're doing here? Amanda feeds me questions. They pop up and I answer them immediately to you guys. And I don't even have to look at the chat. So we're working here. So call your insurance company, find out what you're eligible for. And also, this is another one that you guys typically don't know, which you heard it here first. If you have a C-section, because it is major abdominal surgery, you might be eligible for a home attendant. Yep, that's right. I said it. You might also be eligible for a visiting nurse to come to your house to inspect your C-section incision. I had a mama last week that came. So I work out of the Pediatric Associates of New York City offices here in New York City. If anybody lives here, definitely come see me there. But I work out of there, and I had a twin mama that came in and she had an infection in her C-section. And she and her twinnies, she delivered early. She delivered at 34 weeks and the babies were in the NICU. Every single freaking day, she had to go to the OB's office, get her C-section incision repacked and re-cleaned, and then she headed to the NICU. I was like, Bachacho, no, you could have somebody come to the house. She's like, I can't. I called. I said, please hold my beer. You know, within 24 hours, I had a nurse in that woman's house. That wasn't even a challenge. So the thing, you are entitled to these things. Whether you take advantage of them is a whole separate story, but you are entitled to them. God bless you, Jesse. So know that for real, know what is available to you and use it if you need to. And if you never need to, at least you know that it was there. Okay, so that's your insurance company. Then the next thing is in all sincerity, guys, it's not like a big pitch for Twiniversity. If you're having a financial hardship and you cannot afford our classes, let us know. We have scholarships that are available. That's not how we kind of roll here at Twiniversity, but it is important to take our Twiniversity classes, because if you found this to be at all beneficial whatsoever in the past few minutes, you ain't seen nothing yet, kids. Because there is, not only do we have 87 billion, I think it's literally 70 videos that we have in our Expecting Twins class, but we also have like resources in addition, like listen to this podcast if you enjoyed this, and read these articles if you had this, and buy these items because you're going to need them in your bag. So understand that for our Twiniversity classes, excuse me, it is to really make sure that you guys have a better experience. We're not just like a freaking sales thing here. That's not how we do it. We want to make sure that you guys feel good, but I don't have, 17 hours today to be on with you. Technically, I do. So if you want to hang out with me, feel free. Amanda will choke me to literal death if I stay on over my allotted time. Everybody keeps me on track. So take your Twiniversity class and you will feel much better. Now, one of the things is we do have partners at Twiniversity, which is how we are eligible to provide this information to you. But one of my big partners, which has always been for 15 years at Twiniversity, is Cord Blood Registry. And so it is a very mixed bag. Out of curiosity, in the chat or show of pause, how many of you guys have even spoken to your doctor about cord blood banking? So weirdly, doctors aren't bringing it up, but it is no less important than it was a while back. So the reason why I personally am a big advocate for it, because now I have had two examples in my life where I would have used our stem cells. The first one was when my son was young. He had a disorder that they literally asked me if we stored our stem cells. And I said no, because I didn't even think it was a thing. But it was one of the things that could have potentially treated what my son had. Do I actually know if it would have worked? I do not. I cannot say that. Would I have liked the opportunity to try? Hell to the yeah. That would have been really nice. And now, interestingly, my husband has a heart disorder that we found out. And one of the treatments is a stem cell transplant. Had I banked my Tweenie stem cells, we would have potentially been able to use that for my husband or myself. So I did not know. I really didn't. And I delivered so early, it wasn't even on my radar. But if it's something that's in your budget, you should strongly consider banking your stem cells. So what they are is that in between your placenta and the babies is their umbilical cord, and everything that's just about to go into the babies that's sitting in there coming from your placenta are these cells that have big question marks on them. And these cells could turn into whatever the babies need at that particular day. These magical stem cells could be harvested, for a lack of a better term, and cryopreserved. And if you should ever have a need for them, you could defrost them, so to speak, and it's a direct infusion into any family member that would be a match. So this is considered medical waste for us. Like, we cannot donate our stem cells, which is crazy. So if you go to bethematch.org, as somebody who is a totally huge advocate for organ donation, because of 87 billion reasons, but like literally take every piece of me, God forbid something happens, feel free to use this for my lawyer. But I am such a big advocate for organ donation that when I was pregnant, I knew that I wanted to donate my placenta. I knew that there was stuff in there, but I wasn't allowed to. So in the United States, for whatever reason, twin families are exempt from even donating our stem cells. So it just becomes medical waste, which infuriates me, because that could have potentially saved somebody else's life. But if they're going to throw it in the garbage, maybe I save it for myself. And then I don't worry about it. So the reason why we go with CBR is CBR doesn't charge you until they know they have a viable transfer. So every other company out there, they're like, it's $19 million and we'll take it now. Thank you so much. Where's your credit card? CBR is like, listen, we're going to do what we have to do. We're going to send it back to our lab in Arizona. We'll take a look to see how things are going. And if we do have a viable transfer, we're going to put it into storage and then we'll charge you. But I have a lot of respect for that. And truthfully, I will tell you, there have been Twiniversity families that didn't have to do anything because it wasn't a viable transfer, whether it was because their doctor didn't know how to do it correctly or that they didn't do it in time. It's just really ridiculous. So always know, I am saying that, are you saying that you couldn't donate placenta? Yep. You can't donate. You can't donate, period. They do not accept donations from twin families. I do not know why. So if your hospital does, I would love if you told me. Maybe there are specific hospitals within the United States that are doing that. But as far as nationally, they don't want to hear from us. And I don't know why. So yeah, if you know anybody who works in this industry and there's a way that we could help you guys survey that our stem cells are just as good as singletons, that would be nice, but nobody gives one shit about us. But welcome. This is our world. This is why Twiniversity exists, because the rest of the world literally will dismiss us and be like, oh my God, double trouble. I don't know how you're going to do it. Oh, better you than me. Shut up is what I say to all those people, right? We've heard these people a million times before crap on our twin pregnancies. And that is yet another one where they're like, you're not good enough. This is how I take it. It really infuriates me. All right. So this is our delivery day deal. If you want to take our classes, zap this. Amanda could put this up in the chat too, because I do want to go to our next slide, but it's 50% off. So, and we offer different deals throughout the year. So you really won't see the same thing twice. So this one is 50% off. Yes, we have had lower deals. I think we did a Black Friday one, but I don't think you guys want to wait for Black Friday. But if you can't, even the 50% off, if you can't do it, you let me know. If you have Aetna as your insurance, you might have to pay nothing, because I am now in network with Aetna. So anybody that's on this call with me, if you are in network with Aetna, I may be able to charge you for a childbirth class and breastfeeding class, and then I'll just take it from there. So just know that is a potential possibility. Unfortunately, that's the only one that we're in network with now, and we're really, really trying so that you never have to pay for any of this. Also, this should be 100% reimbursed by your insurance company, even if I am not in network. So childbirth classes, lactation classes, education in general is covered by your health insurance. You just need to have something called a super bill. And a super bill is a specifically procedure and diagnostically coded so that they give you your money back. If anybody takes a Twiniversity class and needs a super bill, you let us know and Emily will create it for you. Okay. All right. So how do we know that you will be in labor? So first of all, this mama is so delicious and so beautifully cute. And I have a theory that if you are under like 5'4", you will go as close to 40 weeks as possible. And do you see that the way this woman is carrying, that it's all extended outside of her body? So if you have a lot of torso space, I feel like the babies try to cram everything in there. But my tinier mamas with tinier torsos, by the way, there's literally no scientific facts to prove any of this. This is just my theory, but it's pretty good, man. I have to say, like, in all sincerity. And Amanda, maybe we actually do like our own Twiniversity survey, because it's no longer a coincidence. Doing this, I'm sitting in this chair for 16 years teaching to you guys. If for 16 years I have consistently noticed this, I feel good about it. Maddie, you're screwed with me, girl. They're killing our organs. That's it. So I'm almost 60. I'm 5'11" and a quarter. So I'm right there with you. But they don't grow the same way. It's like they stay more internal because there's more torso space. But my twin mom, as I call it, like a beluga belly, like you have like a little dip like right below your boobs, and then it kind of humpbacks out. So how do we know? Right? No matter where we are. Well, I want to say that your uterus is basically like a giant water balloon. And if there's a teeny tiny little earthquake, it could be anywhere on this water balloon. Okay. I don't have my boob here today. Okay. So imagine that I have this balloon and I'm having a contraction. A lot of people think that a contraction is going to feel like this epic, like wah, 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 wah. But it could just be like a little meep, boop, boop, beep, boop. So it could be these little guys here and there because it's a muscle. So where is the muscle going to contract? So if you feel any type of tightening whatsoever, like literally, I don't even care. It could be like, oh, that came out of nowhere. If you feel any type of squeezing, any type of pain, like you're getting your period, like a cramp like that, you should really call your doctor. Yes, I know that there's people that are like, oh, you're a first-time mom. Stay home. It's going to be a while after your water breaks. There's no rush. No, you rush. Do not be that jerk that delivers on the highway. Literally, we had a woman just deliver on the subway. First of all, that was very inconsiderate because everybody was late. And I wanted to be like, you know what? Couldn't you deliver on the platform? You had to literally deliver in the subway car. I digress. Amanda understands what I'm saying. New Yorkers, we get very pissed. If you know something's up, do not get on that train, is all we're asking. All right. But no emergency landings, obviously. No driving on a highway, driving yourself to the hospital, which, by the way, if you guys ever join us for our membership meeting, Lauren, who runs our membership meeting, drove herself to the hospital while she was in labor because it was Super Bowl Sunday. She delivered early, and her husband was, I don't know, 17 sheets to the wind. So, yeah. And he also passed out in the OR because the alcohol and the hospital was too much for him. So she is a wonderful person to talk to about not waiting too long to go to the hospital because you don't want to have to drive for contractions. Not as much fun as it sounds. Okay. So contractions, any type of contraction, even if you're like, oh, I've been having Braxton Hicks contractions, which the only difference between Braxton Hicks contractions and real contractions is that Braxton Hicks contractions make no progress. So like your cervix doesn't dilate, but that contraction, that squeezing of your uterus is exactly the same. So how do we really know that you're not dilating this very time? When in doubt, go to the freaking doctor. Do not be one of those people, I beg you. Okay. We don't mess around with twinnies. Let the singletons make stupid mistakes, not us. We do not roll like that. Okay. Once again, shitting on singletons, #1 podcast episode. Second thing, if you have back pain, okay, any type of back pain that's lower to your tailbone and you're like, oh, I'm dying, right? I want to show you why. This is what your pelvis looks like. Okay. How sweet is it? Look at your teeny tiny pelvis. This is, of course, New York City size. It's apartment friendly pelvis. So this is probably the rat that ate all my wires. I have dissected it and boiled its bones. But why I'm showing you this is because look at our tailbone. Okay. So our tailbone actually curves in. If your babies are trying to descend, do you see how potentially we could have a little bit of stuck issue right here because of the way that this curves in? So if you have a lot of back pain, especially in your lower butt region, it could actually be a baby descending. Hello. So if that's the case, call a freaking doctor. Okay. Please do. Gently ask you. So everybody's like, oh, it's just back pain. I've had a lot of back pain this whole time. No, not that kind of back pain. This kind of back pain where you're like, something's breaking. You have to call the doctor. Okay. Also, for those of you, Rachel, with the round ligament pain, I hear you. So with round ligament pain, you guys have to make an investment in a good pregnancy garment. Amanda, could you grab the link for It's You Babe, the prenatal cradle? There's only one that exists on the market, and it is called the Prenatal Cradle by a company called It's You Babe. Amanda, also, are they going to be in Vegas? Side note, just we gotta talk to them about this. So they make this garment. It is, let me tell you, legendarily sexy. Feel free to Google it. And you'll see exactly what I mean. I mean, the way that it intimately crisscrosses over your breasts with that beautiful medical grade material. That's some hot shit right there. If you weren't pregnant, you would be very soon if you were wearing that. So make sure that you grab a prenatal cradle for real. It will help you so much. Do not get like the regular belly bandits. They do not handle the girth that is a twin parent pregnancy. We got to get something super, super substantial. Like it honestly looks like if a construction worker, if you were going to do some road work, you probably would wear this prenatal cradle just for fun. So yeah, that would hold up your partner's beer belly. But yeah, so please make sure that you have something good. Rachel, are you saying that the prenatal cradle doesn't work for the round ligament pain? Tell me right now, like throw it in there. So the the belly bands, they suck. They don't hold us. I don't even know why they try to pretend. That's the other reason why Twiniversity exists, because I got tired of companies saying, oh, this is good for twins. If I had a friggin' nickel for every time a stroller company called me and be like, Manette, we got the best new stroller for twins. And I say, you know what? How are my kids both going to wear shoes and take a nap in that stroller? When you show me that, then I'll listen, because that's not really a twin stroller. That's a 1+1 stroller, because you're only assuming one person is wearing hard-soled shoes. This is the shit that we look at here at Twiniversity. Don't try to fool us. All right. So back pain next. I should not have to say that if your water breaks, you need to go to the hospital, but maybe you just needed to hear the words. Okay. So if your water breaks, please go to a hospital. If you have a loose mucus plug, what does that look like? Well, let's just say I had some nice rolls of toilet paper. If I'm doing a single ply, like the fancy ones, maybe like 3 sheets of that. If I'm doing that's the double ply, like the fancy ones. If I'm doing a single ply, maybe like 9 sheets, we wad it up, we stick it with water, right? We put it under water. And then this clop that we have of this wonderful tissue, if we threw that on the wall, That's what your mucus plug would look like. So it could be stringy, it could be juicy, it could be yucky. We do not know. It could be, there's a lot of varieties, but the mucus plug is literally a cork that is holding in your amniotic fluid from anything else. So if you lose your mucus plug, your water is going to be right behind and break. So please make sure that you call 911. Also note, if you call 911, they will take you to your nearest hospital. They're not going to take you to your delivery hospital. Okay. If you live, this is such a New York thing, but I'm going to tell you something and whatever, it's going to sound stupid. If you live in an urban environment that has a large Hasidic Jewish population, there are special volunteer ambulances called Hatzalah, and they will take you to any hospital, and you do not have to be Jewish. So if you live in an area, no, especially here in New York City, if you're delivering all the way uptown and you live all the way downtown, if I called 911, they're only taking me to my local hospital. They're not taking me to my delivery hospital. These people will. Also, private ambulances, excuse me, may. So if you have multiple hospitals in your area, that's something that I need you guys to think about. Okay. So if your mucus plug, water breaks, definitely go into the hospital. If you have any type of discharge, don't care. It could be white, it could be red, it could be brown. Now, I feel like that song with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, do you guys know that video that I'm talking about? That's what I feel like this discharge could be. But not only do I want you to tell your doctor about any type of discharge, gross thing that I'm going to tell you to do, number 175, take a picture of whatever was on a pad or in your underwear before you throw it out. Your hospital will benefit greatly from seeing what you were talking about. If you go and you say, I was having spotting, they could be like, that literally could be 7 million things. It's 7 million things to me, right? So that's it. It's that pro tip also extends to with the babies. So if you're like the babies are pooping weird, take a picture of the poop. If I showed you the amount of poop pictures and cracked nipples I have on my phone, I could make a mint on like some weird subreddit. I have a feeling like it's amazing the amount of data that I have. So just know, excuse me, always take a picture of things before you go to the hospital. When would you need to call 911 versus having a spouse in person? Okay. So if somebody is actually crowning, like if you're like, there is a head, you call immediately. If you were having contractions and now all of a sudden you felt movement stop, you call 911. If you are having trouble breathing because of your contractions, you call 911. Okay, there are definitely times that you need to have an emergency person there immediately. If you're having an allergic reaction to whatever the hell it is, you call 911. It's not any different with pregnancy than it is with regular life. I would prefer for you to get yourself to the hospital on your own because we do have a little bit of time. But there have been families that are like, I have gotten a call. I could tell you, I was standing in my bedroom. It was probably like 7 o'clock at night. It was a few years ago. And I got a call and it was from Texas, Aberdeen, Texas, something with an A. And it was a mom that said, hi, is this Twiniversity? I said, yes, it's Nat. How can I help you? And she's like, I think I'm in labor. I was like, okay, boo, you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be okay. And she's like, no, there's a hand. I could feel a hand. You could feel a hand? Why are you calling me, my friend? You need to hang up and you need to call my, Amanda, I don't even know if you know that, but this is real. Like, I was literally just putting away laundry, like changing sheets, like doing shit like that. So yeah, don't call me if you have a hand coming out of your vagina. Just a thought. That's when you will call 911. Okay. Now, if you do call me, I am going to be very calm about it. I'm going to tell you calmly to call 911 and just be like, hey, she was fine. Everybody was fine. The babies did end up needing a C-section because one baby was literally stuck with just one arm hanging out. They couldn't get this baby to turn. Shit happens. What are you going to do? Everybody's healthy. Everybody's happy. And everything was good. But don't call me if something's coming out of your vagina. Okay? Cool? Could we just make that a plan? If it's discharge and you want to run it by me, I'm cool with it. But I did not go to any days of medical school whatsoever. I just know when I should make you really panic. But that is it. If you have anything distending outside and if you could shake your child's hand, call 911. Okay. All right. So the other things that I have to worry about outside of your actual uterus, I need you to worry about vision changes. Okay. Any type of vision changes, any blurry vision, any spots, I have floaters, Any vision changes, you go to the freaking hospital. Okay. If you have a headache that isn't going away with Tylenol or Advil, if your doctor allows you to take that, you got to go to the hospital. If you have sudden swelling in your face, your hands, or your feet, you go to the freaking hospital. These are all signs of preeclampsia. Now, I will tell you, not only are these signs of preeclampsia, they're also signs of postpartum preeclampsia. So if you have this post delivery, you have to take it just as serious as you did before. Okay. If Amanda, could we add this too for next time? If you have itching or if you have a rash, you need to go to a hospital. You don't need to put cream on it. So there's something called PUPS, right? And cholestasis. There's big issues that happen, and it could be very catastrophic, to just put it lightly, for everybody involved, because that could be a sign of organ failure. So you don't want to F around when you got a rash. So there was something I had to literally leave a Facebook group of moms in New York City because she's taking a picture of the rash and everybody's like, oh, did you put some of this on it? Did you put, and I'm like, what the actual F is anybody telling this woman? And I was like, you need to go to the doctor immediately. This is not, you don't post shit like that on social and say, what do you guys think of this rash? Okay, please don't do that. Go to a doctor. So any of those, please. If you have stopped peeing and you're just like, that's weird, I haven't peed for 12 hours. Could you call a doctor? Maybe that would be cool. I would like that. If you don't feel movement and it's been an extended period of time and you've done all the usual things, you've had some orange juice, you've laid on your left side, you've done some jumping jacks, you've run around, you've like had a cup of coffee. If there's things that aren't waking up your babies, could you call your doctor? The funny part is odds are none of these things are going to actually happen and you're going to be fine, but just God forbid they do. But we had one mom, Crystal, who did not feel one baby for a day. And she texted me a few days later and she's like, I channeled my inner Nat. And I was like, what would Nat do? And she called, and basically one twin was bullying the other twin behind her ribs. So the other baby was fine. He was just cowering there because he was getting beaten up by the other twinnie. So that's fine. Everybody's good. Everybody's heart rate was good. Everything is good, but there's no need to worry about things if you could get it checked out pretty quickly. Okay, just go. Just let them do a little Doppler. Everybody's good. All your heartbeats are wonderful. Okay, so no movement, done. The next thing is this is going to be a little old school. This is where I become my grandmother. No matter what I just said, okay, you have no contractions, you have no back pain, you have no discharge, you're just having a day, and you're just like, I don't know, babe, something feels off. Guess what? Call your doctor. Because your body is telling you things, and we have stopped listening thanks to Dr. Google. Okay? Thanks to, literally, if your body is shouting something at you, could you please respond? And this not only goes for pregnancy, this goes for the first year as well. Even if doctors are telling you nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong, go to a different doctor, get a second opinion. You do not have to accept no for an answer. Okay? This is like you're turning into a new person with the delivery of your twinnies. You have to really go fight if you need to fight. And I'm cool with you fighting. All right. Okay, guys. So that's the one that doesn't exist. This is our calendar of events that we have coming up. So March 3rd, we have, that's today. Hello. I didn't even realize that. Oh, look at that. March 10th, next Monday, we're doing an insurance and wills. I know you think that this isn't important. You guys, really, you need to get your will and you need to get life insurance. These are critical components to being an adult. I know you don't want to do it. No one wants to think about dying. I don't want to think about you dying either, but you need to get this shit done before you have these kids, because you will not get it done until they are in high school. You will forget to do it. And if anybody has had any family member in your world die without a will, you do not want that happening. Okay? It is really bad for your family. It is bad for everybody that's involved. You need to do this. So Dan is somebody that I've been working with. He's literally the guy that does my stuff. He's worked with over, 1,500 Twiniversity families in 15 years. So he is my go-to guy. He is going to give you the information that you need to know so that you could go ask your local professionals. Okay, so kind of like this. We're giving you all the background. Just know that Dan's got that. Then we have our membership meeting coming up. Then, as Amanda said, we have something called a Twin Ready Registry. So if you're like, hey, I'm still expecting, do I have all the shit that I need? I don't know. But join us on March 17th, and then we'll tell you. what else you need. So we'll talk about car seats, we'll talk about cribs, we'll talk about mattresses. How do you know what you're going to need and when? So, and we'll have a registry list provided for you, like that you don't want to miss. And then the last one, of course, is boob camp, my personal favorite class to teach because I could talk about boobs all day. So that is coming up on, excuse me, March 31st. All of these things are free. So literally, with the exception of the membership, that's included with your membership because we just have to charge for something. So know that everything there is free. If you want to try to see what a membership meeting is like once and then consider joining, I'm totally fine with that. We could get you the information. Everybody can have a free trial on us, but know that we have a lot more stuff coming down the line for you guys. Okay, so the birthday preferences. We created an entire list for you to sit down with your partner on the couch and say, babe, what do we want? Who do we want to be there? What do we want to have happen? Do we want to circumcise the kiddos? Do we not? Do we want to put the babies to breast immediately? Do I want to have some patchouli burning in the background? Do we want to have lights on, lights off? All these things I want you to have, but specifically, I want you to have big family discussions of who will be there during your delivery. So nobody should be there that you don't want them to see you naked. Because if I'm telling you with boob camp that I need to have those boobs out as much as possible to get babies to latch, if you were like, babe, I can't have your dad walking in, or ma, I can't have your boyfriend walking in, they should not be there. They should not be there. And in all jokes aside, because you guys know I like to joke, I don't think anybody should come to the hospital at all. I think it should just be you and your partner. The medical staff is the extra hands that you need, but give yourself a minute to transition with all the hoopla, just not there. Just literally take a breath, settle into this new world. You're healing from a major freaking life event. This is not a time for a party. Yes, you do not have to listen to a word that I say. My word is not law. I understand that. But if you can listen to something I'm telling you, I don't even know if I had to prioritize what's important, but this is going to be top 5. Like top 5 things. Like I would not, like your mom, maybe, your sister, maybe, but only if they're coming there to help you, like literally be an assistant lady in waiting, like you are the queen and they are your servants. Those are the people that you want there. You don't want somebody just coming to like ogle the babies. No, they could do that when you get home. Okay, so help only. The next thing is comfort measures. You're allowed to tell people what you want. Do you want medication? Do you not want medication? If you're not sure, did you know that they could run an epidural and put a block on it so that they don't have to run the epidural through your spine? So you could have this line sitting there waiting for you to say, Palomino, my safe word, and then that starts the medication. So know that you do have options. This is something you need to discuss with your doctor. But if you're not sure if you want to have a medicated birth, then you could be like, hey, listen, I don't know if I want medication. So don't have medication, but have them run that line for you. Okay, so that if you change your mind, they cannot give you an epidural when you are super duper contracting because you can't stay still. And that would be super negligent of that hospital to even attempt something while you are super duper dilated. But they could do it in the beginning and then just put a block. No biggie, no harm, no foul. Okay. One of the easiest things that people could do for labor and delivery is create your birth playlist. It sounds so like, what the hell's the point of this? I'm telling you, music, I don't know for you, but music for me could change my surrounding environment really quickly. So create your playlist. And this is something so much fun to do with your partner. Sit on the couch and be like, babe, what do we want to do? What's the song that we heard together? What was the song for our first kiss? What's the song for our first date? What's our wedding song? What did we dance to? Like literally go down the line and create this epic playlist. And if you want to, side note on baby showers, share that playlist at your baby shower because people love that stuff. They love to like be kind of, introduced to music they may not have had otherwise. But a birth playlist is something so super easy to put into play. Just create that when you can. All right. Do I recommend other kids come to the hospital? Absolutely not. No way. So the thing is sometimes, and the reason why, for the record, why I feel this way is because sometimes you guys look a little jacked. And if you have a little schmutz on you and your toddler comes in and was like, what's that blood on mommy? Why does mommy look like she was just hit by a truck? It could be a little traumatizing. So for you, I don't want you to have to get zhuzhed up to see your baby. Okay. So just wait till everybody is home. And it's also a little chaotic. You have two tiny little newborns. And here's another thing, I don't want somebody breathing all over them with their little German breath until we have to, because they are carrier monkeys. I mean, I don't know why we call toddlers human when they're clearly just virus factories. That's what they are. They're going to put everything in their mouth. They're going to lick everything. That's how they explore. Good for them. But let's not bring that into the hospital setting. And because I also don't want them licking shit in the hospital. How about that? So there we go. So it's a win-win. So we see everybody at home, and bonus points if you want to score points with your toddler. When you pack your hospital bag, pack a present that your toddler will receive when you get home and say, oh my goodness, look what the baby's got you. They bought you a new Thomas. You're never going to believe this. I was like, I don't think we need this, Thomas. And the babies were like, no, we got to get this for Bro. Or we got to grab this for Sissy. It's all about marketing, kids. It's how we're going to sell these new babies to our toddlers. How could we get you to fall in love with these kids today and not try to put a pillow over their face when we turn around? That is really the question that every parent has asked since we have existed as humans. Okay? It's going to be fine. You know it's going to be fine. It may be a little traumatic for everybody, the adjustment period, but it is what it is. I love a big family. I think everybody should have a minimum 9 kids. Why didn't I? Because I didn't want 9 kids. Maybe that's why I want you to have 9 kids. That's what makes me feel better. So know that, excuse me, know that big families are great. There's going to be bumps. You'll be fine though. It's going to be what it is. Okay. Why putting that blocked epidural in early stop you from, no, it will not stop you from moving, Heather. You could still move around as long as there's no medication being run. You're just going to basically have like an IV stuck to your back. That's all that it is. So don't get too worried about that. All right. So let's go to our next slide, because I, of course, am running over and I apologize. This is when we first started our call today. I said that I was going to teach you something that you're going to do forever. This is it. So when you're advocating for your twinnies and yourself now, whether you're advocating for yourself at work, whether you're advocating for your kids in school, I want you to remember the acronym BRAIN. Okay. So if anytime you need to question something, or if any time that you need to make a decision, you should always use your brain. I did not make this up, for the record. This is literally, I don't know, 8 million years old. I don't even know where it came from originally, but I've seen it a million times. And I do actively use this thought process when I'm trying to make tough decisions. So the first one is, what are the benefits of this? And so the analogy that I'm going to give you is, let's say for labor and delivery, they're like, well, we don't know if you should continue pushing or we should do a C-section. Okay. What are the benefits if I have a C-section right now? And they could say, well, the benefits are that you're not going to have to push as long and you're going to feel a lot comfortable, be more comfortable. And you're going to be like, okay, I don't really care about that, but that's okay. If that's what your benefits are, right? What are the risks? Well, the risk with any surgery is that blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now I know my risks. What are the alternatives? And they'll say, well, there are no alternatives. Well, are there? What about forceps? What about a vacuum delivery? What about an episiotomy? Like what are the alternatives? There can't be just nothing but a vaginal delivery or C-section. Like what else could you do in this hospital, right? Which is why we're not delivering in a cave. We're delivering so that interventions are available to us in case we need them, God forbid, right? So what are the alternatives? What is your intuition saying? Is your intuition saying, girl, hold steady, push a little bit longer, you got this? Is your gut telling you, or is your gut telling you this is going nowhere? This is going nowhere and you are out of energy and you are out of steam and that C-section sounds good. That's fine, right? And then also, what if you literally did nothing? What if you did nothing? What if you continued on the path that you were? No forceps, no rushing to an OR. What would actually happen? You've used your brain. So remember this. What are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the alternatives? What does your intuition say? And what if you did absolutely nothing? You could do this out loud, running these items through your partner, whether they're a medical professional, a nurse, whoever's around. Use your brain at all times. I have taught this to my kids. They now use it in college. So literally, this is a lifelong skill. And it is because we will never have to stop standing up for ourselves. Nobody's ever going to do it. Maybe our partners would. But there's going to be times where you're going to be separated from your partner. That's just inevitable. So you have to be able to advocate for yourself. And so for this slide, I would screenshot it, like no joke, or literally watch this later on YouTube with your partner. Make sure that they understand that they may have to advocate for you because you may not be able to. Okay. And if you can't, they have to know what your wishes are. Okay. So always advocate for yourself, please. I beg you. All right. Now, our next slide, blah, 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 blah. Here's our recovery tips. Vaginal or C-section, it doesn't matter. And I wish that we had 2-3 hours to go over stuff, but that's what our Twiniversity classes are for. But if you never take anything, this is the important stuff. You got to focus on recovery. Okay. So the first thing is please don't be in pain. If you are in pain, you are not going to heal correctly. All right. If your cortisol rises because you're all stressed and hurting, your oxytocin can't do what it has to do. And we need that oxytocin to do what it's got to do for breastfeeding. So if you don't want to be in pain, it's not that I don't want you to be in pain. I don't want your family to be in pain because everybody is going to suffer if you're hurting. All right. So even if you're like somebody that's like, oh, I had a broken leg for 19 years and I walked on it and I never even took an Advil. Good for you. That's not this. Okay. That's when that was low stakes, your broken leg. That had only to do with you. This has to do with your entire family. So make sure that you are pain free. Okay. It is okay to ask for help. Another episode of the podcast that you should really listen to is we had a twin mom labor and delivery nurse. And I was like, what do you wish that moms knew? And she was like, I wish that they freaking called us. I wish they would press their Jeopardy buzzer and let us know that they needed support. Because a lot of times we feel like, oh, we should know how to do this. I should know how to do this. No, you shouldn't. That's why you're here. You should not know how to do any of this. That saying, it takes a village, is a real freaking saying. So it takes a village. And if you got to press that button to bring your village into your room, bring your freaking village into your room. You're paying a shit ton of money for that medical care when you're in there. Do not hesitate to ask for what you need from that hospital. Okay. So you let them know and you're like, I can't get this baby to latch. I feel really uncomfortable. I feel a burning sensation. I'm bleeding everywhere. I got to go to the bathroom. Like there's things that you got to do. So that's that. Make sure you let them know. If you are not staying hydrated post-delivery, you do not understand how important it is. You have to have you don't have to have a bowel movement. I'm going to skip that. But within 6 hours of delivery, you got to pee on your own. And if you had an epidural, they're going to put in a catheter, which means that when that catheter is removed, your bladder is going to be on empty. You got to refill your bladder to make sure that you could pee so they could see that you're peeing, because why they want you to pee is they want to make sure that you're not putting any strain on your uterus. So they don't want a heavy bladder just sitting there that can't work. And how do we know that it's working? When it's actually working. So you have to focus on hydration post-delivery. So if you need to bring your water cup with you and then have your partner go fill it up in the pantry, do what you got to do, but you got to get hydrated. Ask for 18 million of those tiny ginger ale cans. Have a few of the cranberry juices. Have some apple juice. Bring some seltzer. I don't give a shit what you have. You have to stay hydrated. Okay, so you got to make sure that you're drinking. You also have to make sure that you're eating when they tell you to eat. If I had to have like the number one meal that I would love if you had, be it that you're not a vegetarian, I think like a steak and black bean burrito with extra guac with brown rice. Yes, as a post-delivery meal. So the protein is in our beans and our meat. That rice and the beans is our fiber. Our guac is just because it's delicious and because we get spring for it because we're worth it, right? It's not every day. It's a special treat. So I want you to have that. I want you to think high protein, high fiber, because they do want you to have a bowel movement before you get discharged. So you can't have a bowel movement if you're on empty, right? And if the baby's in utero, they literally moved your organs. If you have never seen a picture of what it looks like with even a singleton in the womb, they push all your organs to their ceiling. And so if your stomach has no room for food, it may be a long time that you haven't eaten a real meal. Now that you have a little bit of room, eat something good. Okay. Get up and walk around, please. I beg you. As soon as you feel up to it, get that medication out of your body. Start feeling a little bit like yourself if you can. And moving is going to help you do that. And if they're like, guys, you got to bottle feed. As your neighborhood IBCLC, I will never be mad at that. And always remember, excuse me, your breast milk goes in alignment with your baby's stomach size. So when your babies are born, they're actually born full because they had just been hooked up to the vending machine that was there the whole time. So they're born full. So don't get panicky. Like, my milk's not in. Why the hell would your milk be in? Your baby's stomach is literally, hold, the size of a cherry. Where are we filling this up? How much milk do you want? Who is the other people coming over? This is why I say nobody over, because they're going to be like, you have all this milk. Can we make some cheese, some flan? What do we got? Right? No, absolutely not. So if you only had to fill up a cherry, what do you think the volume of your breast is going to be? Right? And so by the 7th day, we're looking, I mean, I know it's an eyeball, but it's a ping pong ball. We're only looking at about this big. It's day 7. So really, we do not need a lot of milk. And I will also tell you, when your milk comes in, so will your tears. I get super sad when everybody's milk comes in and they're like, Matt, it happened today. And I'm like, I know, boo. I'm sorry. It's just literally, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. Come, just let me hold you. That's all. I'll just take care of you because I love you. And I do kiss people on the top of their head because I told you I'm very tiny, giant. But I have realized I have to stop kissing people when I'm in your hospital with you. I don't know why. I'm like a perpetual mom. So if they got a bottle feed, if you got to use bottles, even when you get home, I'm down with it. The rules are we feed the babies. I don't care how. I don't give formula, breast milk. I don't give one shit what it is. Then the next rule is we protect your supply. So maybe we have enough milk that we're pumping, right? Because that's what I was talking about, pumps before. We'll put it in the bottles. We'll do all that stuff. But if you got a bottle feed for a little bit, especially if your babies are born with a higher than typical jaundice, which, by the way, 60% of babies or more have a jaundice, have a bilirubin issue, which means that their liver doesn't know how to liver yet. And so their liver is just throwing trash wherever the heck it lands, and there's no garbage men to take it out. So if we have to feed these babies, because poop is the garbage truck and the garbage men, if we got to feed the babies via bottle, we do it. Okay. So we are huge, huge fans of Dr. Brown's. It is the only bottle that my twinnies ever really took that worked. Okay. So we'll talk more about bottles during Bootcamp, but when you're stocking up on bottles, actually, we talk about Dr. Brown's and everything. You want to make sure that you're using, I like the narrow ones, believe it or not. And we want to try to get nipples that fill a triangle as much as possible. Okay. And this is because when your babies are latching, they need to, you don't want to have something stupid like those friggin' Advent bottles. Or my God, if I swear, if I see one more person with a Comotomo bottle, I'm literally going to just chuck it at a wall. The nipples are so narrow that babies don't have to open their mouths for those. I need something that your babies are going to open their mouth for. So you want to have something that's a little bit wider. So Dr. Brown's, I love them. They work out so, so wonderfully. So you got that. Lancino bottles are good, but Danielle, they're a little mushy. They're not as firm as I wish that they were. So that's the problem, because even like the bottles that come with Spectra, it fills the triangle beautifully, but it's too soft. And so if the baby just like literally does a little bit, it just shoots the milk out. No bueno. So Dr. Brown's is kind of like that Goldilocks between like, this nipple's just the right shape. This nipple's just the right flow. It's just right. So that's it. But Lancino is fine if you have them. That's good. The other one is Nook makes one. If you have it, that's good. But if you're buying something out of the gate, no way would I ever say buy anything but Dr. Brown's Options Plus. That's my number one bottle. And even my bottle refusal babies, that's the one that I could get them to take. All right. So when you first meet your babies for the first time, I kindly ask that you go slow. There is no rush. You will have them for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. You cannot shake them. You could be like, hey, you don't want to go to college in another state? Hey, you don't want to move out because there's so many great things to do and we really could use some time, just me and your dad. That would be great. Could you please go out? It's Saturday night. Yes, you can't get rid of them. So I cannot shake them. They are like doo-doo under my shoe or a piece of toilet paper when I came out of an airplane bathroom. So that is where I am in the stage of twin parenting, when I'm just trying to shake them free a little bit and I can't. I made things too nice for them, but that's okay. I honestly, I really don't mind, but seriously, I could use a little free space. That's not a joke. Amanda knows they drive me crazy. So go slow. You will have forever with them. Do not throw everybody on for tandem feeding if you do not feel up to it. There is no rules of any of this. There is no should Do not should on yourself. Like if you should hold the baby, says who? You're not ready. I would like for you to hold the baby. That would be great. But if you don't feel capable, if you feel too shaky, then I will hold the baby with you. Your partner will hold the baby with you. But don't do things that don't make you comfortable. And once again, Jeopardy buzzer that shit, man. Press that button. Press that button as often as you need to and ask that help. Okay. Drink your water. We already had our big water discussion. Okay. Also, it's totally fine to be freaking the F out because you have two tiny humans that now all of a sudden you're responsible for. It's a lot. If you're nervous about it, that's okay. Discuss it. Don't try to hold it in and don't try to be the hero and be like, I know I should feel this way. I knew that they were coming for 40 weeks. Blah, blah, blah. Just shut up. Just shut up and be nervous. It's okay. We're all scared. I'm still scared. I'm still literally scared. There's still things that my kids do that I get nervous about. And there's still days that I feel like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. You don't get a choice, kids. It's too late. We're just going to have to figure out how to make this work. But if you don't tell people that you feel a way, nobody could help you with that. So don't just sit there and internalize everything because of the way it should be or what you should feel. No, I am not down with any of that. I don't believe in that. I think whatever that experience is that you're looking for should be your experience, not what you saw. I swear, if somebody says that they saw this on TikTok, I will go into a rage. I will start throwing this microphone on the floor. So please only listen to real professionals, not a mom who had an experience, because that's not your experience. Professionals know the variety of experiences that are possibilities. And so, for example, the freezer stash. Okay. We don't need a freezer stash because who's coming over again? You make fresh milk every day. Who are we feeding? All right. I have a client here in the city that lives in Long Island City, and she just bought a new freezer. And she's like, we had so much milk. I put it in the freezer. I said, well, what are the babies drinking? She says, we're giving them formula. Please. She's giving them formula and she has two freezers full of milk. For why? Okay, so namaste. The only one I can control is myself. Right? So just know it's okay to be nervous. Do not listen to other people. And if you should end up in the NICU, welcome to the family. I was there for 31 days with my twinnies. They were lazy AF. They did not want to leave there. They loved it. Their hospital bill was well over $300,000. So anytime I pay my health insurance now, I always think I'd still be paying off that $300,000 from that NICU stay, for God's sake. So I don't mind my premium every single month. But if you go to the NICU, you should have your own lactation professional. You should have your own social worker. You may actually even have like a legit group counsel or therapist in the NICU. Find out the resources that are available to you. You let us know here at Twiniversity. We have a shit ton of resources, including how to navigate time off versus the Family Medical Leave Act. We got all that done for you by a million Twiniversity people that came before you. We will help you through that. You will be okay. All right. And the other thing is please, I beg you, pay attention to your discharge orders. Okay. So like the funny thing is they give you this stack of paper that literally it's like you're being discharged and they're like, here you go. These are yours. Take these home and read them. And you're like, what? The what? The who? The who? But really read the page of like, sometimes it's like the plan or your plan or when to call the doctor or when to go to the pediatrician. Try to flip through it or excuse me, have your partner flip through it so that you do know when to call the doctor. When are you supposed to go to the pediatrician? Right? So like it depends. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on when you're discharged. It depends on the type of delivery that you had. So just pay attention to your discharge orders, and especially going back to the postpartum preeclampsia. If it tells you to take your blood pressure multiple times a day, could you please do that? Okay. Like that's important to me. That's a huge red flag to me. If somebody is like, oh yeah, they gave me this blood pressure cuff. Why is it in the box? Why is it sitting there? Right. So one thing that frustrates me to literally more than anything is that you are all entitled to different services, right? Especially lactation services post-delivery. We do not automatically come to your house. We do not automatically have office hours for you to go to. You have to find us. So if you do not take Bootcamp, where I will preach this, please make sure that you line up good lactation support now. And ideally, the lactation support that's available in network for you so that you have no cost sharing whatsoever. But if you did not find somebody that is a multiple birth specialist, you can call me. Okay. I'm not saying that I wouldn't see you otherwise. I would love for you to work with somebody in person. That's definitely ideal. But if you cannot find somebody, literally, I have probably 8 clients a week through Twiniversity that are just literally all over the world because this is a very unique experience. And weirdly, it's my skill set. Go figure. Right. There you go. So always make sure that you are paying attention to your discharge orders. Okay. All right. So if you need more, we got more. So if you go to twiniversity.com, you're going to see that we have a twins week by week pregnancy timeline. We also have week by week YouTube videos. So like if you're like, what's happening in my 30th week? We have a whole YouTube video that's like, okay, here's what you could expect. Here's things that you want to prepare. Here's things that you got to do. So no, it's all there for you. And it's literally free. It's not going to cost you anything. Okay. You have our monthly support meeting that you will pay for that eventually and you will want to, because for the $100 a year that it is, you have 12 months of weekly support. And if I'm not there, Lauren is there. Lauren is a sleep trained. What is she like? She's a sleep coach. She's a doula. She's a birth doula, postpartum doula. She's a lactation professional. She is a mom of 4, including twins. She's a grandma of 2, despite the fact that she's my same age, but she had her first daughter in high school. It's a weird, crazy story, but I love it. So just know she's who runs the group if I'm not there. So there's always somebody to get that support. And so if you think about it, it's about like $7 a month. For $7 a month for that support, take it. Just I'm really telling you to take it. All right, you got our YouTube, you got our Etsy shop. Amanda's going to tell you buy all the stickers. They are so friggin' cute. I have my bag right here. So like literally put that on your friggin' car. That's it. I have no patience. Do not tell me how to parent my twinnies, especially if you did not have twinnies. I do not want to hear what your singleton did. I do not want to hear how your singleton is sleeping. I do not want to hear how your singleton is fed. I need you to just shut up. Okay. And then I need to be with my people. You got to find people that are other twin families. I feel very aggressive today. I know that that's coming through. But for real, like I did not find it helpful that my friends with singletons were like, oh, you should do this. And I'm like, that's not a thing for me. Like, I can't do that. I can't sleep when the baby sleeps. The babies never sleep, right? I can't pump when you are like, oh, when the babies are not being, that's not a thing. That's not how we roll here. Right. I had a very hard time transitioning into the twin world. And truthfully, it's another reason why I started Twiniversity, because it was such an isolating experience. And without the help of other twin families, I would have been lost. I would have been absolutely lost. So know that we have a ton of stuff for you guys, including a baby safety course, which, by the way, I don't give a shit if you share that link with your friends. As long as you take some kind of CPR and infant first aid CPR and car seat safety, which that whole class is, share it with your in-laws. That's not why we do things. I keep saying that, but like, I really do mean it. If like you have a family member that's going to be alone with the twinnies, make sure they take that baby safety class, right? Or you could say, hey, watch these 4 videos and it'll give you a peace of mind. No, they're not getting certified. We're not a certifying body. We're never going to do that, but it gives you the basics, and every human should have the basics of first aid and CPR. Okay. All right. And then I know we're coming up on our end here. Guys, do not blink. Do not blink. That top picture is me in the NICU with my twinnies. And the bottom picture is me and the twinnies at a Waffle House where my Ginger is threatening my son with a fork. And that is a true representation of their personalities. He will be stabbed by her. He's baby B. She came out basically swinging. So she is still swinging. And for the record, she is 5'1". He is 6'4". You cannot see this with them sitting down, but twinnies, what? And they love to tell people that they're twins. And they love to say, guess who's older? Because nobody ever thinks her. Because I call her my perpetual baby. She's literally still up to like just my nips. She's that tiny. I could kiss her on her head. She has to still look up to me. She's going to be that small forever. That's how tall she's going to be. Because in my family, you're either 5, maybe if you're lucky, you made it to 5 feet. So you're like 4'11", 5 feet, or you're 6'4". There's nothing in between. We got nothing. My husband's side is pretty much everybody is like, I would say 5'11". Like that's just his mother, his father. That was everybody. Me, we have a variety. It's the Italian blood, the Irish blood. I don't know what's mixed in there, but it goes by, excuse me, so fast. But it's going to be so much fun. And I know it's going to be hard. I do, but you can't focus on that. You just have to remember the sun is going to rise tomorrow, whether you like it or not. And if you screwed up everything today, that's fine. You still got tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Do my kids need to put, do I need to put $10 in the therapy jar for 700,000 things that I have done to them for them? Yes, absolutely. But you know what? So what? I never knew how to be a mom of twins, and they never knew how to be six. We're learning on the go. And I literally told my kids that the whole way. I'm like, listen, I know that you guys think I'm a professional mother. However, I have my degree actually in culinary arts. Let's figure that one out, guys. That's a different story for a different day. But I did not have this experience of parenting 7-year-old twins. So you guys got to meet me halfway. And I think by always communicating with your family that I don't know what I'm doing either, and we're going to figure this out as a team, it builds that team. And they're like, okay, she doesn't know either. We're going to cut her a little slack. But if I had a nickel for every time that I said, I don't know how to do this either. So let's figure it out. How do we figure it out? What's the step one? What's step two? What's step three? We'll break it down, right? As I say to the kids all the time, how do you eat an elephant? My son will now say in one bite. That's what my son, because he's ginormous. So he can. Whereas like the rest of his whole life, we'd say you take one bite at a time. That's how we eat an elephant, right? But you will miss it. They are so magnificent. I love those two jerks. I love them so much. All right, back to this. This is your delivery day deal. Excuse me, my cough is, I told you when we first got on that it was going to be crazy. So this is the Bootcamp. Bootcamp 50 apparently is our code, so you can pop that in. And then finally, we have a Grand Pies giveaway. Doom, doom, doom. So what we're giving away is that the Wi-Fi one? The Formula Pro Wi-Fi? Ooh, bougie kids. So the Baby Brett's a Formula Pro Wi-Fi, a whole Dr. Brown's newborn set, the WeGo twin carrier, which if you do not have that, trust me, you freaking want that because it starts at a very low birth weight where most carriers start at 8 pounds. You could wear 2 neonates comfortably. All right. We have, is it all free banking? It's free banking from Cord Blood, which is like $2,500. It's done right there. Check that off the list. And most importantly, your Twiniversity prize pack, all things that we're giving you, including books and stuff like that. So please make sure that you enter to win, have your partner enter to win too. You could just don't have like 11 people in your house because we will see that and we will throw all those out. So please do enter to win. And these are the people that give us the opportunity to give you this education. That is what we do. So I cannot there's not enough words, and you know I'm never lost for them, but there's not enough words for how much luck I could possibly wish for you. And you really will be fine. And I joke around a lot because just shit's too serious. And I just don't have time for that. That's not how I'm going to live my life. I'm going to just have fun in any place I go, in any way that I can. That does not mean that I am not serious. That does not mean that I am highly skilled and highly educated. But I just don't want to be boring because if you've seen people in my industry, they all look like their name should be Gertie. And I'm trying to break that. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like you guys know those people with the bun, right? I'm trying to get out of that. So no offense to Gertie and her crew, but I think that our boob world, we need a little shift, a little shift. So I'm going to try to do that for us. But for our twin world, I got your back. Amanda's got your back. The whole Twiniversity team has got your back. Edelweiss will try to figure out we have that too. I didn't see that it was mixed in. So Erin runs Edelweiss Studios. She is a twin mom that decided to stay home, and she makes the most fabulous freaking creations. I can't get up and get it, but it's right there. I just bought another bag from her the other day, and I buy way too many things from Erin. But Edelweiss Studio is another twin mom, and if you have a twin mom product and you want us to throw it into a giveaway, never hesitate to give us a buzz. We'll always try. And just know that I will be here for you. So get the hell out of here now. I've kept you, 4 or 5 hours after the time that we were supposed to. I also just realized I have a Zoom meeting in 20 minutes for hopefully a new podcast editor. If any of you know, no joke, because we hire from within first. If any of you do podcast editing professionally or video editing professionally, and you're looking for a little side hustle cash, If you know, whether it's you, your partner, your brother-in-law, your sister, I do not care. If they're in your world and you trust them, I would love the opportunity to trust them. Our podcast editor decided to leave podcast editing and she started a church. So interesting change of career. I cannot compete with that. So good luck to her. And she's going to do great. So yeah. So just know for real, we're really trying to look to hire. So if anybody knows anybody, please let us know. But get the hell out of here. Have the best babies ever. I don't go anywhere. And always know, believe it or not, you all have my cell phone number. It's the Zoom ID. The Zoom ID is my cell phone number. If you call me, it's literally this phone that is very, very cracked, by the way. I don't know if you could see how many times I've dropped it, but this is all within this month. I just love to throw it on the floor, like for fun, apparently. It's my new hobby is iPhone chucking. It should be a new sport. But if you need me, you call me, you text me. That is not a joke. I am the most accessible person in this industry. You will not find another lactation person or birthing professional or author that I'm like, call me, text me. I really do mean it. If there's a way I could help you, please allow me to do so. Okay? Get the hell out of here. I love you guys. Call me. Tell me when these babies get here. Feel free to text me a picture and be like, the tiny potatoes have arrived. Oh, I love me some tiny potatoes, especially when they're wrapped in a swaddle like aluminum foil. They're delicious. All right. And if they have jaundice, they're sweet potatoes. They got that little yellow tinge to them. They're so cute. All right, kids. So get out of here. Let me know if you need anything. And for real, if there's some way we could help you, that's how you got to do it. You got to let us know. All right, kids. All right. See you later, alligators. Thanks for watching. You can see me on YouTube later when you watch this later with your partner. Bye, guys.